First question comes from Toy Chest Ghost. Do you think we will ever see Create a Story be added back into our WWE games? I feel like with how important community creations are, this would add some longevity to each game's life cycle. Plus, it gives the community a chance to share their own custom storylines. I don't know if we ever will. I mean, I think it would take a long time for them to ever bring this back into fully form. I could be way wrong. It might come out in 24. They're focusing in on the action item lists and being able to cherry pick and pick how the cutscenes are going to go, how the stories and the rivalries are going to play out. What I think they're going to do is they're going to double down on this list to kind of broaden it out and give players more options. To me, if they doubled that list for 24 and then they double it again in 2K25, they got a really good system in there. But the pieces you're talking about, they totally need to add. They need to be able to take this and be able to somehow upload the custom story with those cutscenes into community creation so people can download it. I'd still love to have just a separate story designer on its own. It could just include those storyline elements, those action item cutscenes. Just dump them all into a separate list where it says, you want to use all this and make your own thing? Here you go. Here's a whole separate list and an inventory you can pick from. And from there, be able to upload and download community creations. That's what I would love to see, but I don't know if they're ever really gonna see it back. Hopefully one day. Escaped Fred 5295 says, do you think Bray Wyatt will be honored in WWE 2K24 still? I think so. I think in some degree, some capacity he will. I don't think he will be a showcase star. I don't think that they will do a whole dedicated showcase piece for Bray. That's my opinion. I would love to see it, but I don't think they have enough development time for when Bray passed that they'll be able to put all those pieces together. What I could see them doing is, like, if there's an Undertaker showcase already planned out and there's a Bray Wyatt match in there, then they could do just some cool unlockables through the showcase piece where it's Bray versus Taker, and if you win, you unlock all of the faces of Wyatt and something like that. And maybe they add in like a really cool video package. They put in honor of Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt at the beginning of the video game. They could do some cool stuff there. Dedicated stuff, I don't think that they will. I just think it's too far into the development that they do that. 2K25, they could totally do a Bray Wyatt showcase, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think they do something. It's gonna be something small though. Gabriel Jaquez 4313 says, for 2K24, would you rather a Road to WrestleMania mode over a showcase? Who would be the characters for it? Now, Gabriel had more questions going on here, but we're kind of answering them too as we go. 2K Road to WrestleMania mode over showcase mode. Who would you have the characters for it? So number one, I'd much rather have a Road to WrestleMania than a showcase. The way they have built these showcases for the last two games, I haven't been a fan of. There's no commentary. It feels lifeless. I don't like the generic music. I don't like the slingshot tech where it takes me into the real life matches of what happened, because I've already lived those. I want to be able to do things in the video game, in the context of the video game for that storyline. It's cool if they add the archive footage like they used to. That I'm okay with. So I can go and rewatch stuff if it's Austin McMahon, things like that. That's great. But I don't need to see halfway through the match that it goes to the sequence and I have to watch it and there's John Cena or Rey Mysterio commentary over top of it. I end up wanting to just fast forward through it and pass it because it doesn't do anything for me, brother. So I'd much rather have a Road to WrestleMania. Road to WrestleMania is far more interesting, and I think it has more replayability. If you're gonna do a Road to WrestleMania, give me 5 stories. They can all be 2 to 3 hours apiece, and I would want to see Brock, Roman, like Tribal Chief, Undertaker, maybe Stone Cold or The Rock, and you could do a Hulk Hogan if you wanted to do that again. But maybe go on the female side and give me Becky Lynch story, or give me a Trish Stratus story. And if you think those are the 5, those are the 5. But if you swap one of them out and put in like a Create a Superstar Road to WrestleMania too. If you did that, that kind of removes My Rise. But I don't see a problem with that either. My Rise is very long and it does its whole thing. Some people like it, and I don't really love it unless I get like things like big time free roam and things of that nature. But if you gave me a Create a Superstar option in Road to WrestleMania, that could be a lot of fun. And then you're also able to do like they've done in the past with previous DLC, do the Road to WrestleMania and then you can sell additional DLC packs for additional stories to add in. You'd be like Road to WrestleMania Pack 1, or you sell us 4 regular wrestlers in a pack plus a showcase, like a Road to WrestleMania showcase, where it's like, okay, do this and replay Cody versus Roman Road to WrestleMania, and give us that. That stuff could be really, really fun. And it gives me way more replayability based on the difficulties instead of just a standard showcase. Walker Art says, do you think AEW will be a thing by the end of the year? Or do you think they'll be the new old TNA? With WWE talking with Warner Brothers Discovery and possibly with wrestlers not renewing contracts and wanting to go back to WWE, I feel AEW will be in a difficult position by this time next year. AEW is in a interesting position right now, aren't they? It's 2024. The contract negotiations, the TV deals are up. There's a lot of contracts apparently with wrestlers and talent that are up this year as well. So where could AEW end up? I think that they're going to keep doing what they're doing. I think Tony Khan is going to keep going at the pace that he is and keep producing more pay-per-views. The problem I have is that there's just not enough compelling storylines. Like the Devil thing was compelling. I think it went a little too long. The reveal was Adam Cole, which is what we expected. Now we got the Undisputed group again. Okay, but then what? Where are we gonna go? It's at least a little interesting, and there's interesting characters on AEW TV, but they need to do more. What I think AEW needs to do as well is, because you see this every week where like there's shots of the crowd and how small the venues are, like they're not filled to capacity in these big arenas. I think they need to shrink it down. And I don't mean go to a TNA model where they're gonna be in the same venue in Florida every single week, but go to a smaller venue that seats 6,000 people, 5,000 people, and make it feel really, really special that you're there. If it's a tight packed crowd, and I think they had this with Dynamite like last week, where it was a smaller venue, the crowd was way more lively, way more engagement, kind of felt bigger because it's also the way they shoot it on TV versus having to navigate around empty areas of the venue. And it doesn't feel very good, and the crowd is kind of sitting there. So they do have a little bit of a risk, I think, of becoming old TNA in terms of, let's get all these WWE guys, let's jack up the roster and who's showing up every single week. But it comes down to the storylines, and are the storylines compelling? I think they need to work on stories. SoonerFan109 says, would like to see 2K24 have managers come out for triple threat and fatal 4-way matches with their wrestlers. Seems like it could be done seeing the max amount of people at the ring area is 8 anyways. Sooner fan, I do agree. I don't understand why we can't get like lumberjack matches. We already get 2 managers going for singles matches on the outside, so we could get lumberjack matches. You should then also be able to get 3-way, 4-way matches with managers attached on the outside. I don't understand why we can't, and that would make things a lot more fun, because if you have Paul Heyman at ringside, you got Scarlett at ringside, Triple H at ringside, like you could Nick Aldis, like you could do a lot of cool stuff, and it would make things a little bit more intriguing when it comes to the stories you're having instead of just straight up one-on-one matches. It must have something to do with breaking the game, but seems like an easy fix that they could add in there. I'm totally for it. But bring back lumberjack matches. Mike says, do you think we should get a dual cover star? Yes. Yes, I do. Next question. No, I think we should. You never know, because the rumor right now in the report is that Cody Rhodes is going to be the cover star, not necessarily showcase star, but the cover star for 2K24. That's the rumor right now. But we are likely to get different covers for next year, just like we did with Ray and John Cena. It's a different way for them to market the different editions. So you could totally get a Cody Rhodes standard and a different version, like a Nightmare one for the deluxe, and they could do a dual cover for the Icon Ultimate Edition, whatever it is. Remember when we had 22, they did the Ray editions, and then they had the NWO for Life edition. So it was just the NWO, it wasn't Ray on the cover. So they could do something completely different for that Ultimate Edition of the game. I would like them to do a dual cover, or do a SmackDown vs. Raw inspired one for the big one, where you're gonna have multiple stars on the cover, and you can give me LA Knight and Roman and Trish and Becky and a bunch of different people and Cody. Or they could do a dual cover thing where it's like Cody and Roman back to back kind of thing. Kind of like 2K20, but we don't want to go down that path. 1KQ says, if you could pick a 2K showcase, who would you base it around? LA Knight. No, it's not. It's too early for LA Knight. We've had things like Austin. We've had Daniel Bryan. I would like a Roman one with the Bloodline, but just the Bloodline story for the last 3-ish years up to WrestleMania 39, or if we could include WrestleMania 40 outcome, that'd be fun. So doing it in 2K25. I like a Roman one covering the bloodline. It'd be a very cool thing, because being able to play as Sammy and Jay and how their story arcs went out, that would be a lot of fun. If I went back in time a little bit, I like Triple H, so I would want a Triple H showcase. I don't really need an Undertaker one. I think the career's worth it, but I'd be a Triple H guy, so give me a Triple H, or if I wanted to go modern, give me a Bloodline storyline Roman Reigns showcase. Rain Plays Games Official says, do you think Paul Heyman and ECW should be added for my GM for 2K24? So if we had like Raw and SmackDown and NXT, and you're saying we should have maybe an ECW option too, maybe. I'd be more inclined with give me the 3 brands and then a custom one, so kind of like universe mode, but give me the custom one where I can not only put in my custom GM, so I could do that, but also allow me to do my custom show, so I could put in an ECW arena show, banner, all of that, and just give me the ECW that way. I think that might be a better way to do it. For Paul Heyman, yeah, they should totally add him in as a manager option, because in 22, didn't we have like, we had Sonya Deville, which made sense at the time, but they had Mick Foley, and then we got Bischoff in the next one. So they're kind of all over the place. So just give anybody that's been associated, and William Regal was in 22, like give me anybody that's been a general manager and is associated with WWE with Legends deals and whatnot. If they've been a GM, put them in there as a GM option, or just, yeah, let us continue to add in a custom one. But Paul Heyman should definitely be general manager option. I have a feeling because of the timeline of 2K's development, Nick Aldis came in. They really need to make sure that they got Nick Aldis as a general manager option for 2K24, because otherwise I'm like, come on, he's been there long enough now, several months, and you're not even playing as Nick Aldis. You're just using his render in there as a selection screen. So if Nick Aldis is not in there as a GM selection, I'm not pissed, just disappointed. Extreme God Wrestling says, what do you think will be the best match on the WrestleMania card? I know nothing has been announced yet, but just go off the rumored matches. I think Rhea versus Becky, if that is going to be a WrestleMania match for the world title, that would be great, because I think Charlotte and Rhea had an amazing WrestleMania match last year. I think her and Becky could probably do something similar. So that'd be one of the matches I think could steal the show. If you did have another match or best match on the card, I don't think the Roman Cody match, if that is going to be the match, I don't think it's going to be like the best match on the card. We've seen it. It was great. But if this is just to finish the story, I think fans will just kind of be like applauding, be like, cool, it's over. He did it. Someone finally beat Roman Reigns. So it's going to be almost like the satisfaction piece, but if you're talking like what's going to be the best match, it's also what's going to have the best build. I think CM Punk and Rollins could be match of the night, at least one of the nights of WrestleMania. I think because the story that they can build from Punk's return, the promos, they have several months to build it. I think Punk and Rollins has the potential to be the best story going into WrestleMania, and they could also probably have one of the best matches. Just depends what you like from your matches. M. James says, will you be attending Money in the Bank this year? We'd love a chance to shake your hand as a fellow Canadian. Oh, too sweet to you, my friend. Money in the Bank is in Toronto, Canada, so I'm very excited that I live in Canada. So I'm gonna grab my Timmies and hopefully I can get to Money in the Bank. Tickets have not gone on sale yet, but I really hope that I can get to Money in the Bank. I've never been to a WWE pay-per-view before. So I've been to like Raw and everything and a bunch of times, but I've never had the chance to go to a pay-per-view. So I kind of like to. I gotta see if the wife will come with me. I might have to just lie to her and say we're just going to dinner and tell her that we got to go into this building for a couple hours. There's a show on. And just lie. That's the only way I'll get in, probably. WWE Fan for Life says, for 2K24, do you believe they will update and motion capture certain moves in-game, especially the Superman punch from the corner? It's been the same animation for years and it's a bit outdated. I hope so. I think they always do to an extent. I see what you're saying though, that it's like we get the same moves over and over again for several years and they're just, yeah, they're flat out of date. Superman punch would be a good one to update. Saw Roman Reigns did the powerbomb on SmackDown. I know we have the powerbomb, but finally, maybe they can update that. I like them to refresh a lot of the moves. I think that the devs over there, especially Brian Williams, who has worked on the 2K games for years, I think he's, based on interviews and chatter, he's a big fan of like moves, updated moves, sequences. I think that there's a good chance that we see a little bit more polish and refinement that way. I hope that they do capture and refresh some certain things. It's the third year of the game getting its like refresh, right? Because we didn't get 21, we got 20, and they've moved into a fresh direction with new controls, camera angles. Like, it's been a refreshed game cycle, and now we're in the third year of it. So this is where I think we see a lot of those improvements, and hopefully we do see a little bit more of the updates to motion capture. Joey Arts says, when do you think the 2K games will be exclusive to next-gen consoles? I think it's going to be 2K25. I think 2K24, because it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it sounds like it's still going to be on PS4 and Xbox One. I think it is going to be that way for 2K24. 25, I think they might finally move away from it. I think we got one more year of it. I think it's because the install base is still so huge, and active player base on Xbox One and PS4 is still massive. And also from 2K side, if they have a massive install base on last gen, why would they ignore that market? They could sell way more copies of the game if they just keep it open to all the consoles that are available. So I think by 25, you'll probably get the next gen, which will be PS5, which will already be several years old. And Brandon Davenport says, good morning. Good morning to you, my friend. Will Tatanka, IRS, $1 Million Man, Mr. Perfect, and Papa Shango be in the game? I don't know. There's the answer. But I got a feeling that based off of what we see online for wrestlers that have been added to WWE Supercard, that's a decent indication of who we could see show up in the 2K games because of their Legends deals and associations. IRS, I think, is very possible. It would be cool if they did a Rotunda pack and they gave us IRS as well as the other versions of Bray Wyatt. Tatanka, maybe. We've seen Tatanka in the past years. I just don't know what the Legends deal is. $1 Million Man, I think, would be very, very likely. Mr. Perfect as well, I think, was with Supercard in the last like couple of months. He's added in there. So Mr. Perfect's been a while. I'd like to see him back. Papa Shango, I have no idea if they would or not. But there's a good chance that we see a healthy amount of Legends added back in. The likes of Shamrock, the Headbangers, and a couple of others have been listed for Supercard, as well as signing Legends deals with WWE for like merch and things like that. It sounds like WWE is ramping that up on the Legends side, which is cool. The Dudley Boys we know. So I think those are going to be the obvious ones, or what we could expect. Those names that you listed, a couple of them I think have a good shot making it in. Thanks for watching the community Q&A, everybody. It's Matt Chat, because my name is Matt. So it's a play on words. Anyways, if you ever want to participate in this and get some of your questions answered here on the show, check out the community tab and subscribe to the channel, because that way you can stay up to date with it. We do them like once a week right now, and then we go and answer all of your community questions from the community tab. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.